Do you want to kick like a pro? Well, today I'm going to go over my top 5 drills that's going to help increase your accuracy, power, and consistency no matter what level you are. Let's jump right in. All right, this is a very beginner one. It's called a pull drill. So you're going to find a pull. I've used a door frame at home. Doesn't matter. It's going to help your body get in the correct position when you're kicking. So here's how it works. You're going to go up to it. You're going to measure your plant foot, so 1 foot length away. You're going to put your plant foot, toes even or behind the pole. You're going to grab on with the right hand. Left hand comes out. Bend the left knee. Then we're going to lock that right leg, point the toes. We're just going to bend at the knee and use our counter arm, our left arm at the same time to just swing just like this right here. Eyes down at the ball or the pole. All right, bend in the left knee. And this is mimicking the same position you should be when you hit the ball. So if this is a football, that's how it hit it right here. Leaning away from that pole, using that right arm to hold on. All right, so some of the most common mistakes I see is not bending the left knee. So it'll be straight locked out like this, and that's not what we want. We want to make sure we bend that left knee and lean away from the pole. Common mistake number 2 is going to be with our hips. Okay, so we're set up. Now, I'll either see one of 2 things. Our hips, where they're pointing, either they're way too open like this, or they're way too closed facing this way. Okay, you want them right in the middle where the center of your body is going in between the pole and your plant foot right here. Okay, just like this. We don't want them too much this way. We don't want them too much this way. Just right in the center. Other common mistake I see is with the chest. All right, we don't want that chest hunched over right here. We want to make sure we have a good tall chest, staying up, just like we would with our kicks right here. The last common mistake I see is with our leg swing. Okay, we want to make sure we're bending at the knee. I see a lot of guys try and swing from the hip, which you do swing from the hip, but you have to combine it with the knee. So especially for these drills, it's mainly just at the knee. So what am I talking about? If you swing just from the hip, your leg's gonna stay straight like this, okay? And that's not realistic. We're gonna lose a lot of power if we actually swing at a football like that. We wanna make sure we're bending at the knee, especially for this drill. You're not bending much at the hip or moving the quad. So it's more just at the knee right here. You can bend at the hip a little if you see that comes back to load it, but my heel's up by my right glute because I'm bent at the knee, just like this. All right, the next drill is gonna be a no step. And I can't tell you how many guys I see do this drill wrong, and it creates a lot of bad habits. So if you do a no step, really pay attention to these, okay? So here's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna measure our plant just like we did on the pole drill. We're gonna tee up our ball, of course. If you have a tee, put it on a tee, set it up. And I like doing these either into a net or staying very close to the upright. So maybe at the like 5-yard line or 10, but you don't have to go super far back. You're not worried about how far these go. We're gonna measure our plant spot just like we did on the pole drills. Then we're gonna move our plant spot 1 foot's width out farther, okay? Then you're gonna drop the toes behind the ball just a little bit to where your big toes about even with the ball, okay? And this is gonna allow us to swing through. All right, from there, you can start with your foot dropped back just like this, or you can start with it up by the ball. I like starting with it up by the ball, okay? And then we're set up just like our pole drill, okay? Hips pointed in between the ball and our plant spot, leg lock, chest up, counter arm out. And all we're gonna do is just small swing, bending at the knee and swinging through. We're literally trying to pass this thing like 5 yards. So just like this. All right, and that's all it is. Let's start with the common mistakes. Number 1 is guys try to swing way too hard at these. All right, or do them from way too far back. Again, this is a warm-up drill. This is not a drill we're trying to go for distance here. All right, it's being under control and just getting contact, okay? So what happens when guys swing too hard? Well, they crunch a lot, they hit the ground, they wrap the ball and pull it left. A lot of bad things, again, creating bad habits. So let me see if I can do one where it's swinging too hard. All right. Now, I hit it good, but most of the time when you swing super hard, it's not gonna be a good kick and you're not gonna have good contact. So again, this is just about getting contact and warming up. It's not about how far you kick these. All right, another common mistake is gonna be the same thing as our pull drills, not bending at the knee. So trying to keep that leg straight the whole time, this is not gonna go good. You're gonna have no power, you're not gonna be able to get the right contact. A lot of times you're gonna scrape the ground a lot. So here's what it looks like. Most of you aren't gonna get a good result. That really wasn't even a good result, but it's still better than what a lot of guys would get if they keep their legs straight. The last mistake I see with these is guys falling backwards as they kick it and then landing behind them, okay? We wanna go through the ball, transfer that power through the ball and go forward. All right, so here's what it looks like if you were to fall back. And a lot of times this can be caused because you're swinging too hard. But a lot of guys will get here and they'll go and fall backwards, okay? That is not what we want. We want to transfer that weight through the ball. All right, moving on to the next drill. This one is the one step. This is my favorite warm-up drill. This is what I normally start with. So here's how I do it. All right, I start with them into a net. You can do them out on the field. Again, we're not going for super far distance on this one. If you're kicking them out on the field to the uprights, again, I start with them into the net because I'm just trying to get the feel. I don't really care where they go. This is a warm-up drill for me. So, tee the ball up, just like normal. Then I take 2 normal size walking steps back. So 1, 2, all right? And then for me, I take 1 big side step. So right here, all right? And then we're gonna go kicking foot forward, all right? So for me, right foot forward because I'm right-footed. Then we're just gonna rock into the ball. You can have a jab step here, pick up that right foot and put it down, or you can just roll straight into it with no jab, all right? And we're just going for contact. Again, I'm not swinging super hard. This is more of a warm-up. I'm just going for contact and getting my body in the correct position. So here's what it looks like. This is a great drill for warm-up, and also it's just good to build like contact, or if you're working on something specific, you can focus in on it and not have to worry about all the steps and everything like you would with your full approach. It's just you can break it down to something a little simpler. All right, so common mistake number 1 is we're not the proper distance away from the ball. And it's either gonna be one of 2 things. We're too close or we're too far, okay? So if we're too close, we're gonna be crammed and we're not gonna be able to get everything through the ball. A lot of times you'll either chunk it, meaning you'll hit the ground behind the ball, or you'll crunch or sit back on yourself, just like we talked about in the no steps. So let me see if I can show you one where you're too close. Basically, you won't have room to really swing through and you'll lose a lot of power if you do hit it right. But again, the chances of you hitting it right are pretty hard because you have no room here. So this is way too close for me. But if I were to go swing, it'd be like this. Now for me, I had to kind of crunch and my body had to adjust. Didn't get the best contact. All right, now let's go to what happens if we're too far. If we're too far, our plant spot's not gonna get deep enough. So a lot of times that can cause a ball off the toes, or you pull it way left. This will also cause you to fall off the ball. So when you swing through, you'll fall around. Let me see if I can do one where you're way too far. See what happens here. All right, so this is way too far for me. And I'm gonna see what happens. Now, I got away with it. Not the best hit, toe-y. Kind of like I said, could be a toe-y ball. My body had to adjust. I had to jump for it because my plant was so far away. I had to crunch and really reach for it just to get through the ball. All right, the next common mistake is gonna be our alignment. It's our alignment right here. Again, starting with the right foot forward, I see one of 2 things. Either A, you're way too open to the ball and your foot's pointing more towards the holder, or B, it's the other way and it's way too square, way over this way, okay? Either way, our body's gonna have to adjust. So if we're way too square this way, when we go to kick, we're gonna have to open up and then try and swing everything through. And it's not very consistent because your body has to move so much. All right, now for the other way, a lot of times is we're gonna wrap the ball and pull it left. So we're gonna be here, and then our plant's gonna be too close as well. That's another issue that it'll cause. And then we'll hit on the outside over here on the ball and we'll pull it left, okay? Now if we don't do that, we'll plant close and we'll have to get under it, and it'll be a weak kick, normally a little bit right. You might get away with it and hit it straight, but it's normally a weaker kick. So where's the ideal position? When you're back here, normally where your right foot or your kicking foot should be pointed is roughly at the ball, or maybe just slightly left, like in between your plant spot and the ball. So somewhere about right here, all right? And this varies depending on your swing, so you gotta play with it a little bit. But normally it's either a little bit towards the ball or more in between your plant spot and the ball. So for me, I'm a little bit in between my plant spot and the ball. So kind of about right here, all right? And that's loading your hips, getting them ready so you can swing through, because now we just roll into it and then we can swing through. The next drill is gonna be called a run through or swing through, all right? We're not actually gonna be kicking the ball on these. These are super useful and they're for kickoff as well. So they're gonna help get your kickoff more consistent by getting your approach and your tempo to the ball better, okay? Here's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna set our kickoff tee on our kickoff line. So mine's down there. I have to get far away because this lens won't let me get closer, all right? So kickoff tee's on the 40 right in the center on the X. We're gonna take our steps, okay? So I know mine take me to heels at the 10 yards, and then I'm 5 over. So I'm right here, okay? And all we're gonna do is we're gonna run through or swing through with no ball, all right? We're just gonna do our approach, focusing on our tempo, make sure we hit our plant spot where we want it. So here's how it looks. All right, so common mistakes. First one is not staying down our approach line. What do I mean by that? All right, it means when we're back in our stance, we wanna make sure we attack our plant spot and run through our plant spot. What happens is guys tend to open up. So what does that mean? It means when we're approaching the ball, we're on track to hit our plant spot right here, okay? But if we open up right before we get there, we're gonna open that right foot over to the ball. What does this do? Our momentum's now going this way instead of straight down the field to where we can power through the ball. Our power is now going in two different directions, right? We're trying to kick that way, but our body and power, some of it's going this way. The other thing that does it affects your plant spot. So if you're going down your line, just like a train going down its tracks, your body knows to plant right here. As soon as you go over here, now what do you have to do to get back to that plant spot? You either have to jump out to the left and you're gonna swing under it and around the ball, lose a lot of power. Or you're gonna come out and your body's gonna try and get there, but it's gonna be way too close to the ball. Then you're gonna get under it and your body's gonna have to compensate and do all kinds of funky things. So let me do a run through where I open up. We'll go like that, okay? We call that a snake, where you're making like an S. You're snaking to the ball. And make sure you go straight down that line. The other thing I see on this one, it's not a huge mistake, but just something that I like to warn guys not to do, is don't swing super hard, okay? There's no ball there. You're not worried about how far it goes because you're not hitting anything. So don't swing super hard. I've done this where I've swung too hard and I kind of feel my hamstring a little bit. Probably got lucky that I didn't pull it or have a strain. It could have been a minor strain, but just be careful of how hard you swing. It should be nice and easy, nice and smooth. Oh, you can do these on your off days. That's what I love about them. Just focusing on your tempo and your steps, just to really ingrain those kickoff steps into your muscle memory, right? And that's the biggest thing I see on kickoffs with guys, is their steps are too inconsistent, right? You got to get those steps down where they're consistent and they're the same and your tempo's good, to make sure you can transfer that power through the ball. All right, if you have made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the support. I hope this stuff helps you out. This last drill is going to be really good for kickoffs, gaining distance. And if you're looking to kick farther, down in my description, I have a free PDF, and it's my top 5 exercises I would incorporate in my strength conditioning routine to increase my power, my kicking power. It's completely free. I'll link it down in the description and in the comments below. So check that out if you're looking for some more exercises to increase your kicking power. All right, and last drill. This is one of my favorite drills for kickoff. It helped me gain a lot of power. I've posted this drill on my shorts, I believe, or on my TikTok. You might have seen it. It's, I don't really have a name for it, but just jog in place, short approach kickoff, I guess I'll call it. So here's what we do. We'll tee up the ball. So we'll tee up the ball, and this is where you kind of got to find your steps. Okay, for me, it's heels at the front of the 5, and then I go 3 steps to the side. Okay, once I get here, I'm just gonna jog in place like I'm doing high knees. All right, just jog in place, and then all I'm do is roll into it and go kick the ball. Okay, so let me show you what it looks like, and then I'll talk about why it's so good. Okay, so the reason I like this drill so much is because you don't have to think so much about kicking. I'm trying to get you to be more natural, because most of us kickers are soccer players, all right? So it's like we're jogging in place, we see a soccer ball, and we're just gonna pass it to a player, something like that. We wanna take the thinking out of it, where you're trying to think, oh, walk 2 steps, jog 2. It's just jog in place and go into it. Now, the reason it's more advanced, it's a little bit harder, is because you gotta find the right steps back, but then you also have to kind of start the same as well. So it takes a little repetition, but again, this drill's really helped me increase my power, because then once I did get everything down, I started really adding power and swinging harder. So common mistake number 1, kind of what I just hinted at, is I see a lot of guys, they have trouble because they're not starting the same. Like, they'll be jogging in place and they'll start one with their right foot going forward, the next one they'll start with their left foot going forward, okay? And then it throws them off and their steps get off and they just can't kick the ball, all right? Again, that's why it's a little more of an advanced drill. Trying to take some of the thinking out of it once you get the right distance away, okay? The other thing I see is when guys, when they're jogging in place, they'll move up or back as they're jogging, and then it affects all their steps after that, because they're in a different spot now. So if this is where I'm jogging in place, you get back here, what I see a lot of guys do is when they jog, they'll move up or back. So you start jogging and you'll be right here, and then you'll try and go and you're too crammed now. Well, it's because you cheated up. Or they're back here and they kind of drift back and then they go forward. And we want to try and keep it consistent and just go straight through it. Stay right in this spot and then just roll into it. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope this video helped you out. I'm trying to help as many kickers as I can. So again, I hope this helped you out. Take these drills out there, practice them, perfect them. They're only gonna make your kicking better. And yeah, keep up the grind. If you like this video, like and subscribe for more content. And let me know in the comments, if you go try these drills, let me know how you like them and which one has helped you out the most. Or if you have another drill that you like, let me know in the comments. I'm curious. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.